God bless. Agrigento.
Ma troppo freddo.
Have you ever been to watch those distant stars? I've never wished you all alone. You just spot those moments, butterflies dancing in trees. There's an awful lot destination. Have you ever watched the sunsets all alone? There's an awful lot to see. There's not just you, there's you and me. There's an awful lot to see. In real. There's an awful lot to see. God bless. And now I can let you know some information about what's taking place on the other side of the camera, which was really interesting during that song, while a group speaking English stood right there, listening to every word I said in English, and then walked away. So this is Via Toledo, where I said zombies don't feel pain 9 years and 2 months ago. If you'd like to know how much it's improved, well, they haven't improved. They've got worse. Much, much worse. They'll walk past writers, artists, poets, musicians from 1 meter away and almost not even flinch for a second to acknowledge there's any type of music or art taking place. They do exactly the same should I sit here as a homeless brother or sister too. And they do exactly the same should I sit here as a world-famous artist too. I can give an example of something I've done today. I went through an extensive list of the greatest artists of all time from a song I wrote in Campo de Fury, Rome, more than 2 years ago. Here's the list. I'll come in close so you can see the list of the greatest artists of all time. Of all time. An extensive list which I call Crazy Crazies. Crazy Crazies, would you recognize Michael Jackson? Crazy Crazies, would you recognize Freddie Mercury? Crazy Crazies, would you recognize Jim Morrison? Crazy Crazies, would you recognize Paul Simon? Crazy Crazies, would you recognize Screaming Jay Hawkins? And the list continues. I carried on for approximately 2 hours. How many actually noticed what I was doing? The answer is this. There's the end of the list where I decided to stop. Buddy Holly, Big Mama Thornton, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis. They ultimately choose not to notice. I'm now on day 12 here. I've met many good people on the very same streets I said zombies don't feel pain 9 years and 2 months ago. And this is what the adults do. They just keep walking. They check the ground, they check themselves, they look away, they check the ground, they check themselves. I'm saying this in the calmest possible way. I watched society as a street artist for 12 years, 12 and a half years. I wrote Zombies Don't Feel Pain 9.5 years ago. They just keep walking. The children notice. I make sure the children notice. And the adults, they check the ground, check themselves, check the screens and walk away. Exactly the same as what they've been doing for thousands of days already. Rather than acknowledge that there's music or art, rather than acknowledge any type of truth, la verita pericolo, they fiercely reject anything at all to do with the truth from 1 meter away. They can stand around in English, and hear the truth in English, and still, rather than saying, hey, here's 5 cents, here's 5 cents, homeless brother or sister, here's 5 cents, artist, writer, poet, musician, they ultimately choose not to. Instead, they choose to reject music and art from 1 single meter away. They choose to reject compassion from 1 single meter away. Exactly the same as they were doing when I sat on this street 9 years, 2 months ago and said, zombies don't feel pain. Not only do zombies don't feel pain, I'm saying this in the calmest possible way. Not only do zombies don't feel pain, they can't see, hear or feel anything at all. They have ultimately no emotions. 0.00 emotions. I've shared the story of all the good people I've met where I'm sleeping. The ones with compassion, the ones who are with God, the ones who can actually see, the ones who can actually hear or feel. The vast majority of the adults moving down this street in the heart of Napoli choose not to see, choose not to hear, choose not to feel, and have no compassion whatsoever. God bless.